Hello, I'm Lillian, just Lillian. I'm not a psychologist or a theologian. I haven't been to Bible college or any place that might give me some kind of credentials that separate me out as especially holy in knowledge. Who I am is a survivor. I'm a sister in Christ who believed all the Christian teachings on marriage and lived them out. I ended up trapped in an abusive marriage for almost 34 years, not even realizing it was abuse. That last phrase, not even realizing it was abuse, could be the key to understanding your own situation if your marriage has lots of conflict. Through that journey, I've accumulated some interesting and some disturbing knowledge about how wolves in sheep's clothing can stay hidden in marriage and even thrive within the Christian community and churches. This clip is taken from my main video titled, What Every Wife Needs to Know About Reversed Polarity in Marriage. You can find the link for that in the description box and at the end of the video. Now, let's press into this idea that it's always got to be the wife who's the fixer in the marriage. What happens when she doesn't get the results she was hoping for, or the results that someone has promised her? And so she keeps on pushing and chasing, looking for that positive achievement in her marriage. At first, it feels like you're just trying harder and pushing forward. But there's something else going on here that you might not see. You're putting so much determination out in front, in that future focus where all those results are supposed to be, that you've got no focus for the back end. You're not able to see what's actually happening in the wake of your effort. It's like when you're driving a boat. You leave a trail, it's called a wake. But here's the thing. You can't see the wake unless you take your eyes off the front and look behind you. So you don't see how the results that keep falling short are causing frustration, disappointment, and discouragement to trickle into your heart. The more you chase, the less contentment and peace you have, and the further away you get from being that gentle and responsive heart that God gave you as a feminine creature. 1 Peter 3 verse 4. Any softness that you could have had or might have once had is being replaced by a determination that feels more insistent and forceful. Every step you take into fixing the relationship or looking for solutions to problems means you're chasing your husband all the more. Every single effort moves you a step further away from being the daughter who God created you to be and closer to a hardened, more aggressive version of yourself. The longer you continue in this pattern, the more it reshapes your identity. And the beauty of who you were created to be, your feminine heart, mind, and soul, becomes completely distorted by the relentless effort to fix something that only God can heal and restore and grow. 1 Corinthians 3 verses 6 through 7. Instead of expanding and thriving in the feminine features that God gave us, we end up becoming a reflection of the world. We become full of misplaced effort and priorities as we become more antagonistic and contentious. Over time, this invisible weight that we carry, a weight that a woman was never supposed to carry, it ends up reshaping our true identity into someone unrecognizable even to ourselves. I said we'd get back to the contentious wife, and here we are. I want you to ask yourself a really tough question, but it's super important. Are you a feminine creature who's being recreated into the daughter who God intended for you to be? Or Are you the contentious wife from Proverbs? There are two different kinds of women who are completely opposite to each other. I want us to look at this contrast between them and what it means to be each of them. I know this is a really hard consideration and even harder to accept. It takes guts and a huge dose of humility to accept. So if you're willing to go on and make some discoveries about yourself, kudos to you. Because there's healing on the other side if you're willing to embrace it. Thinking about this question is hard to do if you're married to a dysfunctional Abraham type of husband. But if you're married to a Nabal type of husband, what I mean by that is if you're being neglected and not treated well in your marriage and it's getting worse as the years go by, it'll be almost impossible to hear or accept because it will be so painful. I know what that pain is because I was married to a Nabal type, but I can tell you what he was had no bearing on the healing that God was beginning to do in me, and it had no bearing on me finding out that I was a contentious wife. As far as your husband's concerned, you being a contentious wife has nothing to do with him, but everything to do with God. It was actually a gift to see that in myself. It was one of the first steps on my healing journey. So if you see yourself in her, I know there's a solution for you too. What I'm trying to do here is to get you to experience a paradigm shift so that you can look at her with a different set of eyes. I want you to be able to see her heart and understand why she's the contentious wife. I hope you're ready. Here we go. If you've been a Christian for any time at all, you know about her. The Bible talks about her in 5 different places in Proverbs. Actually 4. The 4th time is a repeat of the same verse, but it's in a different chapter. The first one is in Proverbs 19, verse 3. A foolish son is trouble for his father, and a quarrelsome wife is like a constant dripping. Next is 21, verse 9. Better to live on a corner of a roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. Then in the same proverb, a little further down in verse 19, God says, "It is better to dwell in a desert land than with a quarrelsome, worrisome wife." In Proverbs 25, verse 24 is where God's repeated 21, verse 9. And finally, there's Proverbs 27, 15 through 16. Continual dripping on a day of steady rain and a contentious wife are alike. Hiding her is like hiding the wind or grasping oil with the right hand. Whew! You okay? I hope so. These are strong statements, and they're hard to hear. But remember what I'm trying to do. I want us to learn to see her with fresh eyes. I want us to see her with some compassion, instead of how traditional Christian marriage advice has taught you to think about her. She's not contentious to be contentious. Her contention isn't from a rebellious spirit that's fighting for fighting's sake or fighting to have control. Any of the teaching I'd ever heard said that that's who she is. What I want you to understand about her is that it's her masculine energy driving her contention. This isn't her true self. It's a response to feeling unheard, unsupported, or unsafe. Her heart wasn't created to strive and fight and compete with masculinity. Not with God putting that much estrogen into her. Her heart was made to be cherished and to respond to love. Estrogen is the responding hormone, not the initiating one. Contention is a response to what testosterone is initiating towards her, or what he's not initiating towards her. What you might think is contention could be the voice of her heart that's crying out for safety, or healing, or for connection and attachment.